Morning, learners. I'm your standby teacher for life sciences today. We are just going to continue with the activity that was given to you to work through yesterday. And then I guess most of you got the calculation right. And so let's just go through it. The question says the DNA. Just, okay. All right, let me just start all over again. Good morning and welcome to Life Sciences lesson for today. I am Mr. Sid Razak, a standby educator for today. All right, so we are going to look at the activity that was given to you yesterday to work through. And the question says, a DNA molecule contains 600 nitrogen bases. If 20% of this is adenine, determine the number of each nitrogen base in the DNA molecule. Yeah, so what you have noticed here is that if you look at the structure, we have the adenine alternating with thymine. So the question says if 20% of this is adenine. Okay. So if it is 20%, since it's alternating with thymine, then the thymine will also be what? 20%. Okay, so if it is 20%, then you come, so 30% cytosine is also going to be equal to what? 30% guanine. We know that cytosine alternates with guanine. And what is going to happen is that since we just recalibrate 20% to 20 divided by 100 and multiply by the total number of nitrogen bases, then you get 120. So if you get 120, then automatically your thymine will also be what? 120. But however, you just look at it. So if you have 20 divided by 100 times 60 will give us 120. Then we have got 120 for adenine and 120 for what? Thymine. All right. Now, when we come to cytosine, which is equal to 30, then when you also work it throughout, you are going to get 180. So if 180 cytosine alternates with 180 guanine, so it's understandable why you have got 180C giving us 180 guanine. Maybe some of you have worked it the other way around, and then you still got it right. So when we are in the chat room, you can post so that we can put more ideas together, and then we'll see how you got it. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let's continue from here again. All right. Okay. So, and then there's going to be a follow-up question here for today. Today is we are looking at the structure of the nucleic acid. It's part of the nucleic acid, and then the figure represents the nucleic acid molecule. So we have to study the diagram and answer the questions that follow. So part of them are omitted, and I'm sure you are already familiar with the structure by now. If you are not, you should be able to draw and label it. So the question says, identify the nucleic acids shown in Fig 1.4. Okay. All right, so here, what I always allow my learners to do is that I will let you answer this question in the chat room. Then I give you the correction so that you see, I give you the answers so that you find out whether you are right or wrong. Okay, that's how I want to do it. I don't know how your previous teacher has been going about it. Okay, but if you have got a suggestion as to how he or she has been doing it, you can just drop me a message so that I can check here. All right, I have okay, Henry. All right, okay. I can see only Henry being active. Are the rest available? Okay. All right. Someone is saying, yeah, keep your answers coming. We will just confirm. Yeah, Matuto. Um, so one, you say it's phosphate. Okay. All right. Okay. Keep your answers coming. So fig one. Okay. Yes, that's okay. Keep them coming. Uh, all right. It's like Henry, you are two ahead of us. All right. Okay. So let's go to the next slide so that we will we will confirm our answers for now. Okay. Uh, all right. So the question was identify the nucleic acid shown in Fig 1.4. We're looking at the nucleic acid. It says identify it. So what is it? Was it the RNA or DNA? Yeah, but I saw that some of you started labeling. So Fig 1.4 is the DNA molecule. Is the DNA molecule. Okay. So I think that some of you were thinking that it says label the part of the nucleic acid. Okay. So the question says identify the type of acid shown here. It could have also been said which of the nucleic acid molecule is displayed here. So the answer for this one is DA molecule. The DNA molecule. But I do also understand how the question was set. So you are right if you also give me those answers because it's saying identify the nucleic acid, but then you have got number one and number two having been labeled for you to also name. But when we are looking at the molecule as a whole, what type of nucleic acid is it? It is what? DNA. All right, let's go to the next. Okay, perfect. Now, 2.2 say label the following. So some of you gave me answers for 2.1. The answers you gave for 2.1, in fact, they are for what? 2.2. So we will just correct that. Okay. So since you have already given me your answers here, then you were right. Some of you were right, which says part one is what? The phosphate group. The phosphate group. Okay. So number one, that type of molecule is a DNA molecule, and part one is what? The phosphate group. Okay. Part two is the what? Deoxyribose sugar. Deoxyribose sugar. All right. I hope some of you got that right because I saw them in your answers. Okay. Then it says the nitrogenous bases for 4, 5, 6 are what? 3. Okay. For part 3, they said we should label them. So they are nitrogenous bases. Okay. Now, what are they? We have 4 that are going to be, that is going to be the adenine. Then 5 is going to be guanine, and 6 is going to be thymine. All right. Okay. So we know that the adenine alternates with what? Thymine, and then cytosine alternates with guanine. All right. So let's I hope your answers are right there. Okay. Let's move on to the next activity. Okay. So they saying so this one I'm gonna take my time. It's like I moved fast in the previous slide. So the question says, what is the collective name for the parts numbered 1, 2, and 3? So that is 1 mark, parts labeled 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you send your answers through. If you are clever, you will almost get it right because there are what is the collective name for the parts numbered 1, 2, and 3. So there is a collective name that is referred to the what? The phosphate group, the sugar group, and the alternating group. I mean the alternating base. So what was the name there? Okay, 2.3. All right, so let's send your answers through for 2.3. 2.3 says, what is the collective name for the numbers? All right. No, a DNA strand. Okay, that's what Henry is saying. Nucleotides. So don't worry, it's happening sometimes. Okay. All right. Nompumelelo, you are welcome. Nucleotide. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see our answer there. Okay, you were perfectly right. That is correct for a mark there. So the collective name given to the phosphate groups and then the bases and the deoxyribose is known as what? The nucleotide. So some of you will say no strength, so it's the nucleotide. The collective name for those parts are known as what? The nucleotide. So let's go to the next. Okay. Now, question 3 says, question 3.1 and 3.2 are based on fig 1.5. Okay, this is a diagrammatic representation of a part of 2 different nucleic acid molecules found in the cells of organisms during a stage in the process of what? Protein synthesis. Okay, so we have got 2 types of the DNA, different molecules that is present during protein synthesis. Okay, then 3.1 says name the molecule that is for the molecule label 1 and molecule label 2. What are they? So basically you know that we have got 2 types. So which one are they? But you must take note of how the the alternation is done to assist you to then identify whether it's either the RNA or the DNA molecule. Okay, let's check your answers. Okay. All right, Henry, I want to push you a bit. So, Henry, if I ask you to give a reason why you decided to pick molecule one to be DNA, what will be your reason? So, if I ask you to motivate your answer, motivate why you pick or you selected molecule one to be your DNA. Okay. Non-Pumalelo, if I ask you that you okay, when you non-Pumalelo, you said one is okay, molecule has the uracil in it in place of what? Thymine. Okay. All right. Non-Pumalelo, you give molecule one is RNA and molecule two is DNA. So if I ask you to motivate your answer why you did your selection, what are you gonna say? Motivate your answer. So supposing there was a follow-up question that says, after you select your molecule, motivate your answer. Why you picked that? So what are you gonna say? So another motivate means give a reason. All right, Matuto, okay. Will you also motivate your answer? Why? I have seen the motivation from, okay, so RNA has a U in place of T, so uracil in place of what? Timer. All right, okay. Then let's check our answers for 2 marks. Okay, perfect. Those of you who said number one is a DNA, you are correct. But those of us who interchange them, okay, yeah, so sometimes we can be asked to motivate our answers. So molecule one, the arrangement is a DNA, and then number two, now molecule two is RNA, or otherwise known as what? The mRNA or the messenger RNA. Okay, I can see some, let me just double check and see what people are saying. Okay, RNA because it consists of a single strand and DNA is a, okay, but you would have seen that molecule one is DNA molecule and then molecule two is the RNA molecule. Okay, all right. Okay, so you see, I didn't even see this, and then I asked a follow-up question. So there is this question says, give a reason for your answer in question 3.1. It's just like what I've asked you. Okay. So in one way or the other, you have answered this question except Matuto. Okay, yeah. So basically, all of you have sent your reasons. So let's let's try to see the answer there. So 3.2 is the question I asked you for your motivation, which is the same thing as a reason, and that one falls under 3.2. Okay, so let's check for 2 marks also. Yeah, so DNA contains the nitrogenous base, which is what? The thymine. All right, so take note. So if your motivation was not in line, you can address that. Okay, then RNA contains what? Nitrogenous base, which is the what? The uracil. So let's take note. So if we If we swap them, we just take note of that. Okay. All right, let's go to the next question. Okay, perfect. So I'm sure you have done, you remember the profiling issues. Okay. And the result of a profiling various DNA samples in a criminal investigation is shown below. Okay. So we have got the profiling sample, and we have got the key that is able to detect or examine the suspect blood sample. Okay, so the question says 4.1, was suspect X or suspect Y involved in the crime? Okay, so we have one is blood sample of the victim. Okay, sample two, blood sample of suspect X. Okay, and sample three is blood sample of suspect Y. And then sample four is first sample of DNA from the crime scene. And then sample five talks about what? The second sample of the DNA from the crime scene. So the question says, was suspect X or suspect Y involved in the crime? So you have got 1 mark for that. All right. Okay. Uh, Send in your answers. Okay. Yeah, I can see Matuto is saying suspect Y. Suspect Nompumalelo, you also saying suspect Y. No suspect. Okay, you are not sure. All right. If Henry, you also said X, that's good. Now, I've not seen the follow-up question for after 4.1. But what I want you to do, I want you to motivate your answers why you either pick suspect X or suspect Y. Okay. Matuto, you said suspect Y. Mpumelelo, you are confused. Okay, but you settle for suspect X. Okay, so let's see. Can you send in your motivations? Okay, Matuto, what are you saying? I've seen you raise up your hand, or you have something to say? Okay, no suspect X. Okay, Henry say, all right. It's getting interesting because we are not sure. So guys, so you try to, for the profiling, after you try to know your definition, you try to study the various sample size. So what I want you to do is you take a question and you look at how the profiling of DNA is done. So if it is done in a certain manner or the turn of the questions, it will assist you. Okay? Yeah, so Henry is saying they are almost because there are similarities there. So if you check, suspect the sample, the profile for 2 and 5, they are the same. If you look at 1 and 4, they are almost the same. Okay, so you are very active here. Suspect S is identical to the other sample. Yeah, okay. Now that's a good observation there. Okay, let's see what we have there. Are you guys ready to check whether your answer is right or wrong? I guess so. All right, let's see that. Yeah, so those of you who said, if you got it, say yes, I got it. I want to come and check again to double check. Yeah, most of you said why, and then you changed and said, yeah, it's a suspect S. You were not sure, so you got it right. So suspect X was involved in the one. Okay. All right. Let's go.
I told you.
Yeah, you told him or her, ne? Okay. All right. Now let's go to let's go to Question four. Question four says the result of profiling various DNA samples in a criminal investigation is shown below. Okay, it's another one. Does the DNA of the suspect from 4.1 match the first or the second sample? Okay. Also, it's just too much. So you just need to. So this type of questions you don't spend much time because it's just one or two answers or marks. Okay. Now send in. Okay. Uh, Waiting for your answers. Yeah, let me see. Okay, so those of you who will either be in the police service or the military service or any criminal investigation, this is where you have to get your things right. Yes. Yeah, yeah, Matutu. So yeah, you understood. That's correct. Okay. All right. Okay. So, uh, yeah, Henry saying to second. Okay. All right. Matutu, what is your answer? Are you saying? Send your answers in. Okay. All right. So let's get the answer. Yeah. The DNA of suspect X matches with the second sample. So those of you who said second, I presume that this is what you meant, that you are correct. So the DNA of suspect X matches with the second sample. Okay, which means he was also part of the deal. All right, let's go to, yeah, okay. Guys, it was nice standing in for my colleague uh, who was not available. And then I guess you enjoyed my brief stay with you. Okay, so if we are confused about the DNA profiling, you just have to go look at your notes and then you will be able to answer questions on what? Profiling various DNA samples in criminal investigation. Okay, see you next time. If you have a question, you can just drop it in the chat room. Okay, I can see that some of you, okay. Handy, thanks very much. Um, yeah, I'm not sure, but the host will communicate to you whether mem is coming tomorrow. But I do